everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today it's the end of another month and I bought some books. So I don't really regret it that much. So here are all of the books that I'm very excited to read. First of all, I needed 2 more books in order to participate in the Bronte project being run by Marissa at Blatantly Bookish. I will leave the announcement video down below. And I owned many more Bronte novels than I thought I did. However, the 2 that I did not already have somewhere on my shelves that I would need to round out this project were The Professor by Charlotte Bronte and Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Now, I do not know much about either of these books as yet. I know many people love Agnes Grey and indeed both of Anne Bronte's novels, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm intrigued to compare Villette, which is January and February's read, with The Professor in March, because I've heard that they are very similar. So those 2 were necessary purchases. I can rationalize those. The rest are just books that I have wanted to read for a long time and that I found at amazing discounts in the post-Christmas sales. The first is The Complete Maplucia, or Lucia, I'm not sure, Volume 1 by E.F. Benson. And I had no idea that these were novels, but I had seen advertisements for the television program on BritBox starring Anna Chancellor and another actress who escapes me at the moment. This is a collection of 3 stories of 2 women who are each outrageous and silly in their own way, and I hope they meet. The television series makes it look as though they meet, although the summary on the back of this doesn't make it sound that way, so maybe they don't. And they make wonderful vehicles for E.F. Benson to make fun of all of the fads of the 1920s, including what are listed here: vegetarianism, Freudianism, seances, post-impressionist art, and Christian Science. And I think yoga makes its way in there as well, probably in the vegetarian vein of things. So these just sound like silly fun that, let's face it, we could all use these days. So I thought I would pick this up and give it a try. The next 3 books round out a series for me that I've been reading for over 10 years, and that is the Anne of Green Gables series. So I finally picked up Anne of Ingleside, Rainbow Valley, and Rilla of Ingleside. And these are, of course, all by L.M. Montgomery. I read Anne of Green Gables when I was 12 in this edition that you can see behind me here. And loved it, but I never continued with the series until very recently. I finally read Anne of Avonlea, I think when I had first started teaching, and I've been slowly making my way through the series ever since. I read books 4 and 5 this past year, so I'm hoping to read the final 3 books, 6 through 8, later this year as well. I then picked up The Painted Girls by Kathy Marie Buchanan, which sounds absolutely wonderful. I heard about it on Emma's channel, Emmy, which I will link down below. And this is about the ballet girls of the Paris Opera who were also painted by Degas, and it follows one of them in particular, in addition to her friends, and the experiences that she has in 1878 Paris. That just sounds absolutely delightful. As a former dancer myself, though not a ballerina, as an opera lover, and as a sort of art lover, I have always loved Degas anyway. This just sounded really wonderful. So when I saw it on sale, I had to pick it up. The next 2 books have also been calling to me for months now after seeing them on a variety of people's channels. And they are An American Marriage and Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones. Most of you have probably heard of An American Marriage by this point. It is about Roy and Celeste, who are happily married, living the American dream, and they go to a motel one night. They have a fight. Roy goes out to get some ice, where he sees a white woman coming up the stairs and she needs some help, so he helps her. Later on that night, that white woman accuses Roy of rape, and he is convicted, mainly because he is black, and he is sent to prison. And it's about what happens to his and Celeste's relationship in the aftermath of that accusation. And it has won a variety of awards, so I've been tempted to pick it up for a while, and once it was on sale, I could not say no. And Silver Sparrow I may actually be starting soon, as it would fit a prompt for the Winter Hibernation Readathon. But it also sounds wonderful. It is the story of two half-sisters whose father is a bigamist, but only one of them knows it. And then they meet, and they begin to become friends. And it's about what happens to their relationship with this secret looming in between them. And, I mean, that just sounds fabulous. The next is Miss Austen by Jill Hornby. I am so pleased to get my hands on a copy. I have wanted one since February of last year. This is the story of Cassandra, mainly, after Jane Austen's death. I have heard wonderful things from Marissa, from Megan at Megan the Story Girl, from Katie at Books and Things, so many people whose opinions I trust when it comes to Jane Austen have loved this book. And they have also loved The Other Bennett Sister, which was also on sale. So of course I picked it up as well. This is by Janice Hadlow, and it tells the story of Mary Bennett, both retelling Pride and Prejudice from her perspective, and I believe it also goes past Pride and Prejudice as well. I was really nervous about picking this up last year because I had read a couple of Pride and Prejudice retellings from Mary's perspective that did not fit my views of Pride and Prejudice at all. It painted the aftermath of Jane and Elizabeth's marriages as being toxic and destructive and just completely ruined the original novel, which to me is not the point of an Austen retelling. You can respect the original endings while giving the other characters new endings. So I wasn't entirely sure about this one, but Marissa and Katie and Megan have convinced me that no, this one is worth it. It does respect the original and do fascinating things in itself. And finally, the last book that I picked up this month, which I couldn't resist, was Upstart Crow, The Scripts by Ben Elton. These are the scripts for seasons 1 and 2 of the television show Upstart Crow, which I love. It is one of the best things that I have seen on television. Of course, Ben Elton is a wonderful screenwriter. He has written things like The Young Ones and Blackadder. So this is his take on Shakespeare's life and what writing all of Shakespeare's plays would have felt like to Will and his friends and family. Will is, of course, being played by David Mitchell, who just adds an extra angst to everything. And it is just wonderful. You can tell how much the show loves and respects Shakespeare's plays, but it also makes fun of them in all the right ways and makes fun of contemporary life and imagines, well, what would those problems have felt like to the Elizabethans? Would they have also had those same problems? And of course it's very silly, but there's always that nugget of truth in it, and it is so clever and so wonderful. You don't have to love Shakespeare to love Upstart Crow, but loving Shakespeare makes it that little bit better. So I am now so excited to have the scripts for some of these wonderful episodes, such as having the famous scene where Kate, in disguise as a man, tries to campaign for bigger ladies' rooms than men's rooms in theaters. And of course, any of us who have been to a theater know that that is a huge problem, and they tackle it in the best and the funniest way, as they do everything. So I'm so pleased to have these scripts in my possession. So there you have it. Those are some books that I am particularly excited about reading in the next couple months, I hope. Please let me know down below if you've picked up anything exciting recently, if you are excited or intrigued by any of the things that I have shown you, and I'll see you again in another video very soon. Bye everyone.